现你曾经是我的几分之几，感觉你贴着我胸口心，在那一个回不去的天里。
All right, thanks for watching the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Since we do still have a little bit of time, we will just wait 1 more minute before we begin.
Yeah, I suggest we could go around. Maybe students from Hall 1 can type 1 and Hall 2 can type 2. We want to know how many students are from different halls tonight. Thank you all for being responsive. Thank you. Hi, yeah, Alex. Oh, many of you are from Hall 2. Cool, yeah. Nice, we have Hall 6. Hi, Sanjay, yes. Cool, yeah. Very nice, thank you.
Mr. Nikhil Kumar is not from Hall, but just one of KB's fans. That's very interesting. Nice, nice. All right, guys, without further ado, I guess it's time to begin. So that was a very interesting video that we watched just now. And hello, everyone. Welcome to our special Hall night talk for this summer in 2021. I'm Patrick, and I will be the MC for tonight. This is a special event because we believe that for a person to become truly great, they should have these factors in their life. So S stands for serve the world, P stands for passion, E for entrepreneurship, C for coding, I for innovation, A for aspiration, and L for life and career. And together, these characters spell the word special. And I would like to first thank our guest, KB, Mr. Kowshik, for joining us today. And I would also like to thank Dr. Ray, the Student Resident Office, and the Special Hall Night Talk team for making this event possible. Before we begin, Dr. Ray, would you like to say a few words about the event or our special guest?
Of course. Thank you, Patrick. I think many of us know KB for a long time because KB has been serving in Hall 2 as a tutor for actually 2 years right now. And one thing I would like to introduce KB is I'm always very impressed by the way he organizes things and also the way he delivers quality work. And I think it won't come from nothing. It must come from a lot of hard work and experience and guidance from many people. And recently, when I look into his journey, he is actually starting our company with a lot of people around him. And these people, not only from the similar age, but also I observed that he is able to get connected with very experienced people in our society. And I get that that is what we need. When we finish our university study, we go to the society. We do have many years to explore our life. And I think as a university individual, the skill set that we want to acquire, there's somebody you need to mute it. Yes, I think the point is we need to learn all these skills. And the special online talk today, is the summertime. Every year, we try to set up one special talk with our carefully selected student, which is very close with your age. And we believe this kind of sharing can really connect you. So tonight, we're very excited to have KB to do his best to share with all us. And I think it's not just a one-way sharing. We hope that with our special talk, like a dialogue, there will be a lot of questions from all of you. So let's make this an event fun and record it. And KB will bring such a good memory for the rest of his life because Hall 2 is always your home. Okay, so without any further ado, I want to say thank you for all the people who joined us tonight. And the special talk is really special. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you, Dr. Ray, so much for the opening speech. And I would like to just give a very quick introduction of our special guest KB today before we begin. So KB is an incoming JP Morgan graduate analyst. KB is also the CEO of Microcent Limited, a fintech startup based in Hong Kong Science Park. And he has held internships at top investment banks such as JP Morgan, HSBC, and ICBC. KB is also a CityU BBA finance major, and he has a minor in CS. He is a resident tutor of Hall 2, which is the hall responsible for organizing our talk today. And he is also a CityU Apps Lab member. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Please feel free to type any questions you have in the chat box. We will try and answer them in the Q&A section after KB's presentation, if time allows. KB, please feel free to begin. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Patrick. First, I would like to thank SRO Hall 2 and Hall 2 Hall Master Dr. Ray, RT Patrick, and Special Hall Night Talks team for making this event possible and inviting me as a speaker for this event tonight. I hope you all will get some sort of insights from my presentation, which I plan to cover 5 different areas. I hope you guys can hear me. There's no issue, right?
Yes, no problem, KB.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot. So my name is Kowshik Balaji, but after coming to Hong Kong, I realized that my name is kind of hard to pronunciation and it can also go other way, you know what? So you can all call me KB. I come from a small city called Vijayawada in India. I don't think you probably met anyone from my city in City University of Hong Kong, or probably many in Hong Kong either. It's like a bubble. It's a very small city out there. But coming to Hong Kong is a big journey for me, and joining City University of Hong Kong was really a huge accomplishment for me for coming from that city, because we don't usually go outside that city. Everything from schooling to university, we all stay there, and most people know each other in the city. It's a very small city of less number of people. But the first impressive thing I noticed coming to Hong Kong is the culture of Hong Kong people is interesting, because back home, when we have even people from different state, we don't feel like we can accept them. We feel like they are non-locals. Even I'm talking about the people from India, from different states. We have this biased feeling that they're not from our own state. But in Hong Kong, for past 4 years, I'm proud to say that I never felt from any local that oh, you guys are non-locals, you don't belong here. I always felt belong in Hong Kong, and this is my second home. And I'm very happy that Hong Kong accepted me to be considered as a home. And my majors is in finance, and I also minored in computer science. In fact, I actually started my university in computer science, but then I realized I started taking a couple of finance courses, and then I realized that I'm more passionate and interested about finance than in computer science, because computer science is more technical and I'm more of a person who wants to reach out to people and understand the math. So it was not a decision for the sake of job. A lot of people change their major for the sake of finding a good job. For me, the decision was to do something that I'm interested in, because this is something that I'm going to carry for the rest of my life, right? So I decided to move from CS to finance, not because CS is a bad major. It's a very great major and it opens a lot of opportunities, but I realized it's not for me. And that's okay, because CityU gives you an opportunity for 1 year to actually figure out whether you like your major or not, and they give you an option to change. So I spent my first year exploring whether I do really like CS or some other majors. And finally, but still, even now, I'm connected to CS. I did a minus there, and I also do programming for finance related stuff, mostly Python. It's a good decision for me, but I think you guys all need to decide whether your major is fit for you or not. Please feel free to move around. You should not stick to a major that probably isn't for you, because you might regret it later on. And you guys can follow me on connect with me on LinkedIn. I have the QR code here. But today's presentation, I'm not going to actually talk about any of my accomplishments, but it's more about 5 different stories that have had significant impact in my life. And I think it's kind of important, and you probably come across one of the stories in your life, and probably you can find it useful as well. The 5 areas that I'm going to talk about is business competitions and hackathons. The second one is networking. And third one is entrepreneurship, academics, and internships. These kind of all 5 are interrelated. And I'm not going to actually talk about why you should do any of these things. That's not the promotion that I'm doing, but it's more about what I gained from each of these aspects that I used for my journey in the university. The first one is the business competitions or hackathons or entrepreneurial competitions. This is what I've been talking about when I meant competitions. So business case competition is when you are a consultant and you are helping a company, or a hackathon is where you are helping, you are working with a team of 5 and building a product within a specified period of time, which is usually like 1 to 3 days. And entrepreneurial competitions, you already have an idea and you go to the judges and present your idea and get feedback and potentially some funding. For me, I joined these competitions just for money. That's the honest truth. In my year 1, I joined just for money, because if you look at the competitions, the amount you can win is like 30, 50, 100,000 Hong Kong. I realized that if I spend a weekend with a few people and just work on these competitions, I can make a lot of money. And I did in the last 4 years. This is one of my major cash flows. And I still participate in competitions for that reason. It's a great way. But then after joining in the year 1, I realized that this is a trial field. By trial field, I mean that you get exposed to different things in the competition. The first thing is you work with people who are not from your own majors. It's completely different from your academic project. You might be working with seniors. You might be working with juniors and from different majors, or some people not even from university. So how are you going to coordinate with them? How are you going to work together with them? Whether you are a designer or a project manager, it gave me an access to a trial field to explore a lot of things. Trust me, I came across a lot of things in this trial field. The first one, I had issues where 2 people in my team fell in love and they became a couple. So when I shouted at one of the person, the other person reacted and the entire team collapsed. That's one case that you might potentially ever face. Second case, I just argued with one of my team member about the idea. He had a different idea. I had a different idea. We both argued and he finally gave up and he said, I'm leaving the team and I don't want to work with you anymore again. So he left my team. So I faced a lot of things. But one thing I realized is that you need to spend a lot of time working on team dynamics. For example, a good example is one of my friends, Nikhil. He's very good at hackathons and he does a lot of business case competitions as well, but I never ever did a team with him. The main reason is it's not a good team dynamic. If I go with him, we will fight with the idea. But instead, when I take him as an advisor, whenever I have any questions about technology side, I just text him and ask him about it. And he does the same thing, but we never invite each other for our own teams because we know that it's not going to set up the dynamics. So you need to realize that it's not about finding the smart people and working with them. It's about setting the right team dynamics. And to figure it out, it took me 3 years, guys. And it takes a lot of time. It's not an easy game. And last one is the networking. You find the smartest people in the competitions. And trust me, that's very true. You might be thinking people sitting in Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan are smart. No way. These people just focus on what the boss says. I'm an incoming analyst in JP Morgan, and I can tell you that that's what happens. Most of the times we listen to what the managers say and we do it. And we don't really think from out of the box something, because it won't get, even if you think, it needs to get approved and it takes a long way to happen. So, but here in competitions, the people you meet are coming up with ideas on their own and they're building it on their own without any support. So you actually find a lot of smart people struggling and working hard 24/7. And it's a good people to actually mingle up with. So that brings to the second topic, networking. It's always 2 things, what you can offer and what they can offer. If you go for networking and if you want some help from them, and then it's not going to work. Maybe it's going to work for the first meeting, but afterwards it's not going to work. So you need to always figure out what you can offer and what they can offer. For example, I think you always need a mentor in life. My mentor is a very rich guy who sold his company to eBay and now in Hong Kong and trying to explore different startups. I wanted him as a mentor because I wanted to be where he is. But how can I make it into a long-term relationship? The way I made it is by see what help I can ultimately provide to him. For example, he was looking for someone to help him with his website, and I told him that I can help him with it. And then he was looking for some startup, which I gave my startup as an access to. So there are a lot of things that I gave him as benefit in return for advices and mentorship from him. So it should be always two-way. When we see a mentor and we think that they can only provide us advisors, then that's the wrong way. You should always go two ways. The second one is an advisor. Advisor is not probably in your field, but this is a person with a lot of network and help you with a lot. For me, it's Dr. Ray. He's in a different field, but he always helps me find the people that I need, whether it's for my startup or competitions. I just let him know and he finds it. So that's kind of advisor you need. You always need someone who can help you. If I ask Dr. Ray that what can I offer to him, he would probably say, you don't need anything to offer to me because I just want to help you in it and it's going to give me pleasure anyways. But I tried to find out how I can offer help to him. The way I tried to help him is by moving to Hall 2, actively joining the events and becoming the RT. So it's a two-way. You cannot ask them what you can offer to them, but you need to figure it out. And also when you invite any network to a coffee, you pay for it. That's it, period, no question. If you don't pay for it, they might say that they're going to pay for it, but ultimately you got to pay for it because it's a way for you to show them the gratitude that, hey, thank you for your time. So I'm giving you, this is the way I'm expressing my gratitude. So I insist that I'm paying. So you always need to do it and it works. And the networking, because a network is not just one meeting, couple of questions and done. It's a connection that you need to build with the people. So try to answer these two questions all the time. Then it will be a successful networking for you. For me, whenever I meet any person, I ask them three things. One, their name, and second one, their majors and their skill set. And I always store that information in my phone so that when I need it, I ultimately reach out to them. So you always need to actively seek out for people. Send out messages on LinkedIn if you need to catch up with them. If you send it to 100 people, maybe 10 people will respond, but it's fine. Just play the numbers game, just like you play in relationship, right? So send out to different people and it works out. Okay, that's my insights about networking. Entrepreneurship. I think we always get stuck whether, is it for me? Always my friends, even I used to ask this question, is it for me? And this question is very hard to answer because I'll tell you something. This was my first team in my year one. I formed this team for my idea called Pocket In, which is a wealth management solution. So I was the year one guy here and then graduate. He's from SAS company SaaS. And then this is also a graduate. She's from Bank of China. And he's also a graduate from JP Morgan, working in tech as a technology analyst. And this guy is also a graduate working in some company I don't remember right now. But I had an idea. The idea won the competition. So I realized I can find, if I find a group of smart people, then I can make it into a success. So I went to these people. I was somehow good at presenting my idea and I sold it to them. So they were like, okay, we're going to do as a team. But what I realized after forming this team was that idea alone is not a startup. Startup is much more different. It's idea is just part of it. And probably your idea is not even that important at all in the startup journey because you want to change your idea anyways in the long run. So your idea might be very simple for now, and that's not the important thing. So don't spend more time on idea. And the next one, if you think you have the idea, you are not the CEO. And also you are not the boss of the company. A lot of times I thought because I was a CEO, I was the boss and I can boss around all these people, but it didn't work out. And also startup is not just having a smart team because everyone was smart in my team here. This guy had data analytics knowledge and he was technology. He was able to build that mobile application and he was a machine learning engineer. And also she was very influential in finance. She was actually working in Bank of China. So having the smart people didn't mean that we were able to build anything. The company actually died pretty quickly. This was our team. And within 6 months, the team changed completely, except this guy. He believed in the idea, but not in me because I wasn't a good leader. So I got another guy. Again, I did the same mistake. So these guys left. I replaced them with another smart set of people. This guy is from IBM. This guy is a PhD student. And this guy is from some asset management firm. So I formed another team. And again, I did the same mistake because I thought I was a CEO, I can boss around. I thought my team is smart, they can build it. There's nothing that was working out for me. And I spent first 2 years on my startup, wasting my time. It wasn't a waste of time, but wasting their time by telling them an idea. And also my idea was so huge. I had a lot of ideas to implement for the enough funding. But one thing we were good at, whatever competition we go or whatever funding we go, we win it. That was we good at. So we thought our idea is excellent. But when you replicate it into a startup, it's not the same thing. It's a different. So we failed as a startup, but we won with our ideas, a lot of competitions. But now, after that experience, I realized something. Startup is achieving a goal together. And to achieve that goal together, you need to have right team dynamics. It's not the smart people that you need, the people who can work together. And the way I structured my new startup, which has been there for almost 1.5 years, is that I have a CTO who is PhD in blockchain, and then a CSO, different people, all of them are graduates and equal level. Some of them are knowledgeable in the different fields, but someone who can work with me and someone who I can work with them as well. So that was the most important aspect I was looking for. I wasn't taking everyone who was smart. I was looking for only the people that can be part of the team. And to oversee us, I needed proper advisors who know this field very well. For example, I have an advisor who takes care of the strategy and partnership side, another advisor who helps with the product side, another advisor who helps with the technology side. So the team actually works together in a way that they fill all the holes. It's not just having a team that's super smart, right? It's about having a team that can work together. And I'm not saying our startup is successful. We are doing the same thing that what I have done in the previous one, winning the competitions that we go for and getting the funds that we require. But there's a long journey to go. But what we have achieved as it together is we almost built a prototype. We are ready to launch it. We are almost done with the website that we're going to launch it. So we also did a lot of background things. We validated our product. We actually tried to go to people and ask them whether you're going to use our application or not. We didn't think that our idea is the smartest idea. We went to them to ask if they're going to use it. And the first feedback we got from the people that we thought going to use, they said, we don't need it. There are already a lot of things. And we took that response and we changed our idea into a lot different thing. We asked our advisors what we need to do. We asked other people what we need to do. I was so open to listening to other people because I knew that I was so stubborn in my first idea that I thought that my first idea is perfect. It's going to work out. But here I'm like more open about it. Doesn't mean it's going to be a successful startup, but what we are doing is something that's keeping us progress every day. Every week we are achieving a milestone. And that's the good part about having a startup. And we also have a deadline. If the startup doesn't work out by end of December, we're going to close it and look for a new company, and probably the team will dismantle, or we're going to stay and work in a different project. That I'm not sure, but we have a deadline, we have certain milestones, and we're going to achieve it. So the way I came to this one is because of this one. If I didn't join this team and if I didn't form this team to do it, I would have never been able to do this. So you need to start with this so that you can achieve here. And this is not the end, right? The end is way more there, but at least this is a progress. I can see it. And the progress is what I value personally, because I don't think the startup needs to be successful no matter what. It can fail and I'm okay with it. I will go with next startup. I will start with where I failed and I'll go with something better, and it's okay. Same for my team. And that's what I told my team and they're okay with it. This is my team in Science Park. This is our office. And actually all of them are still part of the team, but some of them are not in Hong Kong right now. And some of them are in mainland China, but yeah, we are all together almost, it's been 1.5 years. So no, there are no many conflicts because the team is open to listening to everyone's opinions. And that's the most important thing. So again, the question is entrepreneurship for you? The answer from my side is just do it. You will figure it out later. Because if you spend time, if it is for you, you don't know, I don't know, no one knows. Even your mentor won't know it. probably when you're doing it, you will realize you like it. You probably like being part of a team. You like solving problems together. For me, I realized that it's for me because I love solving problems. Every week we come across a new problem. For example, we were working on social media data and we were extracting the social media data of a user, which is very private info. So recently all the social media restricted the way we can extract the data that we used to do. So that was a big problem for our solution. So how we are solving it is going to be the next couple of weeks. But that's interesting because we are doing research about it. We are trying to contact people that are in the industry to figure out how we can mitigate this problem. And we also have solutions right now to how we're going to mitigate it. We have, so coming up with this kind of ideas and solving it together and researching with different people, primary and secondary, it makes it more interesting. And this journey is for me. It's maybe I won't be successful at all in this journey, but it doesn't matter because I am learning it and I'm having fun, and that's all matters at the end of the day. Next topic. This is a quite interesting topic that all the university students come across: GPA. How high it should be. But I have three. Even I don't know how high it should be. Maybe it should be 4.3, but I don't know if we can achieve that. Some people did. Great for them. Good for them. But I have three different friends. One friend is a 3.0 CGPA, and she's working in one of the bulge brackets as an analyst, high paid salary. And just don't take this as an example that you see on LinkedIn profiles where people say that they had 1.8 GPA. I'm not trying to say that a low GPA can also be successful. I'm just saying that this happened. And there is a second person with 4.0 GPA still searching for a job. And then there's someone with 4.2 got a master's in Ivy League. All three are close friends. But if you look at the GPA picture, that's what happens. We think that, oh, even low GPA, it doesn't matter. She can get into a company. But it's not the GPA that got them there. The first person was more focused on internships. The person did the internships from year one, always have been doing every single time, whenever she has time, or even during the semester, she was doing internships. She didn't care about the GPA. She was maintaining at least a minimum GPA, but she was more focused on internships, gaining experience, getting known to people. The second person also wanted to get into a grad job, but the second person did a mistake. He was focusing only on GPA. There was no internships at all. So his GPA is great and he's a smart guy, but it's not going to help him anyways. And my third friend with the CGPA of 4.2, but this person already had something in mind. I'm going to do masters. I'm not going to work as an intern, or I'm not going to work in Hong Kong. I'm going to do masters. And this person only spent time on working on GPAs and working as a research assistant for the professors, got good letters of recommendation. This person ultimately ended up in masters in Ivy League. So the three chose different paths, but we only look at the GPA and we always decide how high it should be for the success. I don't know how high it should be, but I think having a moderate GPA, maybe around 3.3 to 3.5 would be a good deal, so that it does show that you're good at what you are. Even if you don't like it, you're still good at just because you took it, right? So that's a way to show the employer, but no one really cares. Like in JP Morgan, no one cared. My application, the most I could show was my GPA was 3.2 or above. They didn't even ask me what my GPA narrower range. The range was quite wide, 3.2 or above. So even if I had 4.3, I couldn't flex about it. So that's the point. Don't focus on GPA, focus on what you want. And as a human, we want everything. We want to be in masters, we want to do internship, we want to do a lot of things. But maybe sometimes you need to make decision on what you really want, and then go to the LinkedIn and see who are the people that achieved what you want and follow them. Sometimes they can be misleading because in LinkedIn, people only put their achievements, but you don't really know what they have gone through, or maybe they just got lucky. Sometimes you just get lucky in this field. So you cannot take one person as an example, but maybe you should at least spend time in the MTR and scrolling around LinkedIn and seeing different profiles. I look at a lot of people's profiles that are in the positions that I want to be in. I always try to follow it. So maybe you should start doing it as well. It helps you at the end of the day. Internships. This is the stressful one that I feel, because we always want a good internship. And we think that people who got into good internship are smart, and people who didn't get into good internship are not smart, or they are doing something wrong. But I can tell you that it's completely wrong. Even if you get an internship in the top bank, there are tons of people who just got lucky. And luck plays the most important factor. You can only work hard to increase your probability of becoming lucky. But at the end of the day, luck is the major factor, because maybe the HR was angry with her husband, or maybe the guy was, his wife told him something and he was so pissed. So he was just scrambling all the CVs and pick the one that, without even looking at it. Maybe that happens because it's a field that people look at hundreds of CVs and they don't have time. They don't bother about looking every single CV. So they just pick whatever the thing that they like. So it happens in this industry a lot. So don't think that whoever got into multiple good internships mean they are very smart. It's just luck. I do have one friend who was struggling to get into a very good graduate job. And then he did an internship, and then he was still struggling to get a graduate job. All of a sudden, the company opened a graduate position, and he applied for it and he got an interview. I'm not sure if he got the job, but that's the thing. He got lucky. He got an opening exactly at the time he needed. So what are the two things that are important? One is luck. Second one is the right timing. But doesn't mean you should stop working, because he was constantly looking for opportunities, and he did the internships, he did everything, then he got the right time. So you need to be doing the things and wait for the right time, but don't feel sad about not getting into it. I also know one guy who got into top he won the championship in Code for Good in JP Morgan, and he still didn't get the interview for the JP Morgan, even for the internship. I mean, come on, he won the championship of that company's competition and he didn't get it. The reason, he doesn't know. No one knows. That's what happens in the field. But we always think that the people who get it are smarter, but it just doesn't happen that way. It happens in a different way. So don't force yourself to land into a top internship. In the long run, you will. But maybe right now, maybe take up the unpaid internship, or maybe there's a small, very low paid internship. Take it, gain experience. And maybe the person who is in that internship knows someone that they can connect you to. You never know, right? For me, actually, from my experience, I worked in this company called IX Fintech, which is a small startup company. That was my first proper internship. And I asked the CEO to give me an internship there. And she said, we are not hiring any interns and we don't have the budget for it. So I requested her multiple times, and she finally said, okay, you can work for me for unpaid internship. And if you don't provide real value, then you need to leave. And she was very strict about it. She was really running a serious startup. And I started working for them for unpaid internship. But my focus was to learn from her and also be able to build the product and how she is building the product, how she was managing the team. I learned a lot during that internship, but it was unpaid. And actually it was making me broke because I was traveling to Cyberport and the food in Cyberport was very expensive. So I had hundreds of reasons why I shouldn't do the internship, but I had one good reason, which is I want to learn. So I did it. At the end of the day, I ended up doing that internship. And 2 months later, she actually found me very useful, and she paid me a very high salary, almost equal to her full-time employees. And she did it because she found me really helpful for her startup. And I worked for the startup for the next 6 months. And then I got connections from her. I got some good connections in the banking field, and I got good connections in the startup. So there are a lot of things I got out of it. It started as an unpaid, ended up as a paid, but that was not the focus. The focus was what I learned from it was really important. And the next internship I did in ICBC, but this was an interesting one because this is not something I applied for it because I had no idea about startups. About the financial industry. I didn't know how to apply for grad job. I was more on startups competitions, right? But I won a competition, and the competition award was to work for ICBC. And I ended up working there, and that's when I realized that this is also an interesting field. So I progressed my career there by doing multiple internships there, and ultimately I did a couple of more internships. But the thing is, the growth was okay. It was not that great. It was just an unpaid internship. And there are tons of people that way. So just don't look at if your friend got an internship, doesn't mean your friend is better than you. Maybe you can learn from your friend. Maybe your friend will be probably the one helps you refer you to an internship. You never know. So don't feel sad or don't feel jealous that your friend got into something better. Maybe become good friends with them. Probably he might be the one helping you get into a good internship. You never know it, right? And in the internship, this is a good one. In the internship, when you're working with other interns, they are your competition because there are not many full-time jobs. There are only less number of full-time jobs. So there's a huge competition. There's huge jealousy feeling in the internships. Oh, I am from a better university. You are not from a great university. Oh, I did more internships than you. There are a lot of people you're going to face in the internships. And how are you going to tackle these problems? This is how I used my competitions knowledge. I already tackled those problems in the competition. So it became so easy for me to tackle it during my internship. So it did pay off at the end of my working in competitions and learning to work with a team. And it can pay off for you in a different way, but it's going to pay off some way or another. But it's the right timing, right? For me, the right timing was an internship, but maybe for you, the right timing was a grad job or maybe your startup itself. So wait for the right time, but keep on learning. Learning is the most important as a student. You have a lot of time to learn. Keep learning all the time. And also meet the people. That's important. Your people are your net worth. Your network is your net worth. I think someone told me. Okay, I gotta remember that. Yeah. So keep your net worth and your network. Your network can help you take you to a long way. And networks really help you. But I told you in the beginning, right? What you can offer them and what they can offer you. If you don't do this, and if you look at one-way treat, that's not possible. And one of the interns, I met him yesterday. He joined Microcent like a month ago, my startup, and he was okay with working for unpaid. And he was actually offering the value to my startup as working as an unpaid. In return, I was helping him in different ways. I was giving him access to the company. I was giving him access to the people. So that's the way. It's always should be two-way treat. If he wanted just help and advices from my side and how he wanted to know about the business feel and all, probably I would help him one time, but maybe second time, yes. But it's hard to build a long-term relationship when it's only one way. So try to find how you can offer something to them. That can be anything. If you think about it, you will find something that you can offer to them. And also, if you want to join my company, we have a paid internship position available. It's for business development. So if you are interested in it, you can WhatsApp me at 615-640-83. We are looking for a lot of new talents to join our team. And this is one of the paid internship position we have right now. And the access you have is a great team. And our team has a lot of really experienced people, not just the team, the advisors, he sold his company for eBay and he made millions of dollars out of it. And he is an ex-managing director of Wells Fargo and also Bank of America. And now he does alternative asset deals, very successful guy. And of course, Dr. Ray, you guys all know about him, a lot of initiatives, one of the top professors in CityU, and he has a lot of access network. I mean, most of the team members I found are via him in the Cal group. So you need to have the right people. And if you want to join our company, please feel free to join and let me know. We have some internship positions available. Thank you so much for listening. And yep, now I'm open for Q&A.
Wow, KB, thank you so much. We could really see that you put in a lot of effort for the presentation and even your entire script. That was amazing. Thank you, KB. And before we begin the Q&A, is there anything you would like to add?
That's it from my side. I'm good for Q&A now.
All right, great. So I guess for the first question, I'll just start off with by asking, what are your long-term career prospects, KB?
So I have like different types of goals, like where I want to be. For next 3 years, I want to explore my career at JP Morgan. So that's one thing that I want to do. And I also want to keep my startup running because it is not at the stage that I can go full-time because we don't have that many funds. But if it reaches to the stage that I can go full-time, then I probably might consider it. But that's going to be my next 3 years plan of how I'm going to work with my career. The long-term plan is always going to change, right? It's very hard to decide what I want to be ultimately. I haven't figured it out. It's going to be difficult because maybe once I join JP Morgan, I realized that tech is not for me, or maybe that it can be a lot of things, right? So I need to figure out what is my interest, and maybe the long term is very hard to decide now, but I do know one thing: I want to be rich.
Yeah, definitely, KB. I think it's already very impressive that you were able to concretize your interests up till now since year one. And yeah, so I guess we'll move on to some questions that the audience has publicly asked. So the first question is, was it easy for you to find the right people, whether it's in hackathons or small projects?
Honestly, no, that's a hard part. So we always go with friends, right? The immediate access that we have are friends. So we simply text them saying that, hey, I have an idea, there's a competition, do you want to go? But going with friends can be good, can also be very bad, because if your friend doesn't do work properly, or if your friend free rides, you cannot really shout at them, right? You cannot shout at them that your work is really bad. So that kind, and also friend will also take some lenience from you, like, hey, I cannot work today, can I work tomorrow? So, and you cannot say anything because he's your very close friend. Maybe you will tell that, hey, we need to finish the project, man, but you cannot be very strict on him. And your friend also can take lenience. So finding a team is the hardest part. The way you can do it is that if you go with a bad team, it's fine. What you do in the competition is that go to other teams, talk to them, let them know your name, what's your skill set is, and know the same thing. You store their number in your mobile phone, and also what I always have a database of their name, their number, and what their skill set are and where I met them. So if I need a competition, I actually contact them. Hey, um, now I want to go competition. We met in blah, blah, blah competition. Do you want to go together? I have a really cool idea. And they say sometimes, yeah, let's go. And sometimes they say, oh, we are doing it with another team. Sometimes you just, they don't even reply to you. It's fine. It's a numbers game. If you take everything personally, and if you find rejections as a hard thing, then, oh my God, you cannot really move forward, because a lot of things people told me. I remember one person said, oh, it's better not to go competitions than working with you at all. You are the horrible team member. If someone told you that, like, you would start thinking that, oh my God, am I really a horrible person? So we don't self-reflect ourselves. We instead criticize us more and we stop doing it. But I realized, okay, I tried to find out why that person criticized me, and I changed it. And there are a lot of things other people said, and they gave me feedbacks as well. Like, oh, it's very hard to work with you, man. You are sometimes very rude. You sometimes are very direct on face. Maybe you should be telling us some things that one-on-one. Maybe you shouldn't just point out in the team. So I get that kind of feedbacks, and sometimes it's very rude to me as well, but it's okay. It's a journey, and these people shape your journey and your life experiences, and I'm okay with it. And it took time to actually accept this, but now I'm at a phase that I'm neutral. If someone tells me something very rude, I'm like, good for you, good for me, thank you.
Damn, that was really good. And developing that kind of thick skin definitely is useful, especially in your industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I think your idea just now of having a database where you compile the contacts that you met throughout your journey, and what they do, what kind of skill sets, and where you met them, is really, really useful. So thanks for that, KB. Well, we move on to the next question. So can you share some of your best and worst experiences working with or leading a team?
Okay, one time this is a very good example for me in the beginning stages of a team. I found 5 smart people, right? And two people actually started a relationship in my team, and it was okay, right? It's no big deal. People fall in love and it's all good. But the thing was, when I used to criticize one person, then the other person used to react. And that's not the way the team works, right? So when I tried to talk to them, it became so complicated, because it's everything becoming personal when I'm trying to keep it professional. Or maybe I wasn't keeping it professional. I was going personal as well, trying to target something, because I didn't know how to handle those kind of situations. But then I ultimately, they left the team. And when they left it, they also told the team members that this guy is really bad, don't work with him. And other teams left as well. So from there, I actually learned that you can face, sometimes it's very hard to keep professional and personal things completely separate. We want to do it, but we don't do it in the right way. So sometimes it happens, and the way you can solve it is, first you need to mitigate it. You should find team that no one knows each other very well. So you don't actually have people bitching about you, or fighting about, talking about you in the wrong way, or starting a relationship, right? You try to control it, but you cannot control it to 100%. So you always have the risk. So one way you can solve it, that it happened another time, and the way I solved it is that I told them that they need to keep a separate distinction, and I don't have any problem having a relationship outside the startup. But within the startup or the competition team, you cannot be a couple. And I'm also going to put you in a different team so you don't work together as a team. And I hope there is a privacy in terms of the informations that you guys share, because your team is your team and this team is this team. So I tried to create a distinction, and this time it worked. It didn't really go the bad way it did in the first time, where I straight up said you cannot do this kind of things in the company, and one person reacting to the other person. So that's a really bad experience, but I ended up learning something. A good experience is one person in my startup right now working, he or she, this person is very encouraging. This person knows how to work with a team leader. This person understands that this person is not a leader, but this person knows that he or she can actually add value to the company in a different way from their using the skill set, using their knowledge. And that's very important. If you find team members who accept that they are not the CEO, they are better fit for this particular role, that's the best team you can have, because everyone wants to be the leader and not everyone can be the leader. You need to accept what your role is and how you can change, accept it and work together. And I have seen one person really working so well, and I have been working with this person for the last 2 years in many competitions and startups, and it's always been a great experience working with this person, because that person accepted what her or his role and capabilities are, and how can improve it, and how can provide value to the team. That's it.
Thanks a lot, KB. From what you said, team dynamics is really, really important.
Very important.
Very important. And as you said, making it very clear from the very beginning and throughout your startup journey that being professional and personal, the separation is key as well. So thanks for that, KB.
It's kind of hard to keep it personal and professional completely separate, but it's the best thing to do is try to do as much as possible. There's at least 1% risk that it's going to get personal at one point, but try to keep that. When you get it, the conflicts, you need to solve it professionally. Never bring the personal things into the startup or a competition.
So for the next question, would you say working in HKSTP or some other good company in line with your career goals before you pursue a master's is a good option?
Yes.
Is work experience given credit in the applications?
Absolutely. I'm not very familiar with masters, so I'm not the right person to answer about it. I never looked into master applications, but I have seen some people who actually did work for 1 or 2 years and go to masters. But I can answer the first part of the question about working in HKSTP. Yes, it's great to work for HKSTP. Any startup company that if you work for them, you learn a lot from them, because they are struggling a lot. Maybe the company won't pay you a lot, but you will learn lot of things. The startup is from the beginning to the end. You will see the journey, the foundational stage. And if you get lucky, that's amazing. And I do know one guy who joined in a Series C startup, which is like more advanced. And he joined this company as a full-time graduate. And it was not a great company when he joined, and the salary was not great. But now, guess what happened? The company went into IPO, and he was one of the early people in the company. So he probably got a lot of benefits out of it. I never talked to him about it, but come on, we all know that tech companies pay huge amount of RSUs, and that's where the big money is. So yes, being part of a startup journey is inspirational, and you can learn a lot. And sometimes, yes, it can turn into a big luck, and you can be part of an IPO. Even if you are just an employee, you are still a big winner.
KB, do you have any tips for people wanting to know what they want to do when they have no idea? So let's say when they first entered university in year 1, or even say when they're about to graduate in year 4. Do you have any tips for them?
Yep, sure. It's kind of hard to figure out what we want. Even like I said during my presentation as well, I still don't know what I want to be in a few years from now. That's hard to figure out. What you can do is try to pick up some things and see if it interests you. At least you find it fascinating. maybe a startup or maybe working for a company as an intern, try to read about it, look into the forums and see what people are saying. And if you think that you have slightest interest about it, then try to enter into that field, explore it, and go full on mode. And if you don't like it, you can exit it and go for different ones. Life is all about experiencing different things. If I didn't get into startups, I wouldn't have known I liked startups. If I didn't get into corporate field, I wouldn't have known that there is a lot to learn from the corporate field. So I would say that you need to get in there. You cannot sit and just expect everything to happen. So you need to, and you all have the knowledge, skills, and motivation. You just need to go yourself there, and don't fear about the rejection. Rejection is part of the process. You're going to get rejected a lot. It's going to happen a lot, and it's fine. It's a part of the process. If you get rejected by someone, in 2 days, they won't remember you, and you probably won't remember. Right now, I can't even tell how many people rejected me. I don't even remember them, but I got rejected. I do know that I got rejected by a lot of people for a lot of things. Even for my startup, a lot of people read my LinkedIn message and never reply at all. Some people just send a couple of messages and just WhatsApp is seen. So it's okay. Rejection is part of the process. Move on. There are a lot of people in your field, so it's okay. Get rejected. Actually, get rejected. You might learn something out of it.
And as you mentioned, KB, even if you don't know what you want to do, but when you do go and try something out, try with all your heart and do it well, and you probably won't know the opportunity that you can get. Yeah, definitely.
It's very hard to know at this stage. You cannot figure out everything we want. Sometimes we get lucky in the field that we chose after university. We might probably like it and we might stay forever there, or we might settle there. So it's very hard to figure out what we want unless we start exploring it.
Definitely, agreed. I guess the next question is something that I think the majority of us go through. So the question is, how did you manage the inferior feeling that might come across when you first joined the competition and met people who might have a more prestigious background?
Oh, yeah, that's a very interesting question. In the beginning, one thing I realized that my skill set is presenting my idea. I was good at it. I was always able to present my idea very well to other people and be able to inspire them about my goal. That's the only thing I was good at. Rest of the things, no, I didn't have proper technical skills. I didn't have the skills to do designing. I didn't have the skills to do even write, probably prepare a pitch deck. I probably didn't have that skill as well in the beginning. So I tried to join with I think the first competition I ever joined was Bank of China Fintech Hackathon. I think it was all 5 freshmen. All 5 of us were freshmen, and we had no idea. We all were, some people were technical people, anything, but no one really had any experience about competitions. It's just 5 of us went to that competition. We saw other teams, what they were doing, and we realized that they're doing a presentation. And so what we decided to do was we tried to find some sample presentations online, and we started doing it. It was very funny presentation we did come up with at the end, but we did come up with it and we presented it. And somehow we ended up winning the 3rd prize in that competition. And it was purely luck, I would say, because none of us had any idea about what's going on in the competition. No one, but it's all freshmen, right? And we explored it. We gained the experience there. The next competition, I got better people and more advanced team. It's not the best team, I would say, but it's still more advanced. So there's a progression. So I had to start somewhere, and it was just 5 freshmen I knew, and I asked them, hey, you want to go for competition? And they were not even interested, but they were like, okay, let's go. Maybe you will get the free food there. Yeah, we ended up getting free food for the last 3 days during the hackathon. But it's the experience that you start somewhere. And sometimes you can probably join a more experienced team, and if you have a more skill set, like maybe you are good at programming or designing, then you will probably join the team easily. But it's all about starting somewhere, growing slowly. You cannot be the best team when you go for the first competition. You can get lucky and win the championship, but if you want to consistently keep winning competitions, then you need to slowly grow from competition to competition and build your team, understand the team dynamics, understand what kind of people you can work really well with. And if you find someone that is really good, then have a good relation with them. So every competition you go with, you invite that person. And I did it. Like I think in the earlier answer, I tell that I do have one person in my team who accepted the position and worked very hard. So when I find someone like that, I take them everywhere I go, and they're okay with it because they realize that it's a good relationship. So it's a process, takes 4 years. For me, it took 4 years, but you can even start in final year and it's fine. It's not the end of the world.
Definitely. I guess in line with this, very quickly, do you think you should capitalize on your strengths or try and man your weaknesses?
You need to capitalize your strengths because that are your selling points. When you need to get an impression with someone, you need to capitalize your strengths. If you don't have a really strong skill set or something, no one will value you. Your passion, you can be very passionate, but passion is not something everyone's looking for. Everyone wants output, a deliverable. So you need to work on your best skill set and you need to improve it. But during the process, you will identify your weaknesses. For me, managing the team itself was a big weakness, which I thought was my strength. So I realized my weakness and I worked on it slowly. I realized project management was hard for me. I realized communicating with people for delivering product was hard for me. So a lot of things I realized were my weaknesses that I thought were my strengths. So it was okay. I took time, but I ended up working on it and made it better.
I see. How to network effectively if you're an introvert? What do you think?
Introvert is actually not someone who is scared of talking to people, right? The definition, I don't know the exact definition of introvert, but introvert is more of a person, if they go for a really big social setting, their battery gets discharged by seeing a lot of people, and they need some time, like few days staying alone, and then recharge their social battery so that they can meet people. Whereas an extrovert, if they stay alone, they cannot recharge their battery. They can only recharge their social battery when they meet a lot of people. I think for introvert, if the problem of an introvert or maybe the problem of the person itself is to meet people, then I think one thing you can do is maybe you go with your friends. Maybe the people you feel the most comfortable with, you can go with them. First, I think in my year one, I felt I didn't feel comfortable to form group projects with locals or even any other internationals or non-locals. It was quite hard for me to adapt to them. So I just went with my friends. They helped me become more comfortable with being part of a team and work as a group project, right? And then slowly, when I'm with my friends, they invite at least one person that I don't know, and I get more familiarized with that one person, and then they invite more couple of people. In the beginning, I was that way. It was hard for me to communicate with people as well, but later on, it did help. Friends are a great way for you to actually get access to different people.
That's a good point, KB. So the general advice would be to try and minimize or try and reduce the barrier of entry when there's something that you don't want or like to do.
Right.
So the next question is pretty interesting and it's a bit long, so please bear with me. So the question is, some people think they're not ready for hackathons or competitions and that they might need to get more subject knowledge before attending. Could you share some reservations you had in your earlier years when going to competitions and how you overcame them?
That might be one of the ways that you hinder yourself from going and trying out the competitions, right? I want to have a skill set that's necessary and I can add value to that competition. So that's why, oops, is my video turned off? No, right?
Yep, it's off.
Okay. It's off?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I think, oops, I realized something. I'm so sorry.
No. I think you have two devices.
I have two devices and I'm talking on a different device.
Maybe, yeah, you're right.
Maybe I'll just leave the audio for my.
Yeah, it's a fascinating, so nice discussion. Yeah.
Okay. So the question was, what if you need a skill set? Whether you should work on the skill set, right? My answer would be that you don't have to waste time on just working on your skill set. That's a good way to go. But I would say that start participating in competitions. At the same time, start working on your skills. Maybe you will learn more things that you won't. Maybe you will learn that certain areas needs to be learned in that particular area that you probably won't know it just by sitting in front of computer. You will learn more from the experience. So go for the competition, learn, lose the competition, it's okay, and do the wrong things, it's okay. But then learn something out of it and try to keep your study plan, whatever your skill set is, you want to work on it. So add it to it. So keep doing it. So as you climb the ladder and you build your skill set, you also get the experience of being the competition. But if you don't do it parallelly, then it's gonna really make it difficult for you, because when you have a lot of skill set and then you go to the competition and then you realize that your skill sets are not enough, then you go back again to building on your skill set, will never ever go and work on a competition. So you need to take that step and work on the competition if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, that's a good point, KB. And having a goal, for example, in a competition where there's a goal that you want to achieve and getting the skill set that you need to be able to do it, that's really important. And I guess that helps to motivate you as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the second question is, there was one person wondering if you would have a daily routine that could help you stay motivated and productive and move on, even if you have failure or just, a normal day.
My daily routine is very simple. I wake up pretty late, but I do programming for 2 hours every day. I work on Python more for career goals. So I work on Python for 2 hours. That helps me learn a lot of things. And then the next one is my major area, what I'm working on. I work on my startup for a few hours, not a lot, and maybe 2 to 3 hours a day. That's all, because our startup is at a very early stage. Yes, I do work 2 hours coding. It's very hard. I'm not a very professional, so I'm still learning it, and it's mostly theoretical based on programming. On the finance side, it's algorithmic trading. So I do learn it. And the second one is my startup, couple of hours where I talk to my team members, ask them what they're doing. And they also don't work on full-time basis. They are probably working 2 hours, or sometimes they don't work on the day at all. And the third thing I do is I watch Netflix. I need some entertainment, so I do watch Netflix, go out with friends, and I also study some of the things that in finance I want to learn more. So I spend more time learning new concepts in finance. So that would be some time. And then I go to gym. That really helps me a lot, because in the beginning I thought it makes me exhausting, but when I really started doing it a lot for a long period of time, I realized that it helps me keep going. It created a daily routine, because I eat on time, I work on time, I sleep on the right time. Even though I wake up late, but I still have the 8-hour sleeping schedule. So gym actually helped me have a proper schedule every day. Yeah.
Thanks, KB. It's 10 o'clock now, but if you don't mind, we'll just ask you one last question before we conclude. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. No problem at all.
Sure. So across your 4 years at university, do you have any major regrets? Could you share some of them?
My major regret is not starting the programming very early age. I should have started in freshman year and should have started coding a lot and started doing a lot of projects and adding it to my GitHub. I didn't do it. I started after kind of graduated. I started programming a lot, but before that I wasn't doing it. So I think that's biggest regret, that I haven't started programming at very early stage. Even if whatever the field you are, I think learning programming is very important. It's because when you're working as a team, you work with the technical people, right? And technical people kind of speak a different language. They say something and you don't understand from business perspective. And as a business person, you cannot communicate with them very well. If you want a great communication, you need to understand what their problem is. So one way to understand is to programming yourself and learn how to read the code and all. So I'm never going to position myself as a programmer, but I will still keep learning so that I can talk to the technical people.
Definitely. Thank you so much, KB. And to conclude, it's a 2-part process. So the first part is we'll ask Dr. Ray to give us a concluding speech. And then after that, we'll have a group photo together. So Dr. Ray, could you please, take over?
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Ray.
Thank you. Oh, wonderful. I want to say thank you for KB. I actually prepared a full paper to say my concluding remark. First thing, I would like to say thank you for the presence and support from RM from Hall 8. Alex, thank you for joining us, and also all the students who joined us. Yeah, and I think all of you can see it. Special Hall today is fully automated. So as a RM, I don't need to do anything. It's really amazing. The student, Patrick and also KB, what we really want you to achieve in the university education is to become a leader. And this leader, the leadership skill, it could be demonstrated in many different ways. So I highly recommend all the students, if you are in your first year or second year, do your best to explore and learn how to become a real leader. I think that can really help you a lot. Second thing I want to highlight tonight is KB already mentioned that accepting failure and keep learning. That is really true, okay? And I hope that you can always remember, as a student, people will always be forgiving you and giving you a lot of reboot and redo and do again. However, if you graduate, and I hope that you need to be prepared that in some situations, people do not accept failure. So I hope that you can keep that in mind and do your best to explore failure when you are as a student. I hope you can notice that KB, before 4 years before, he came from the southern part of India. I believe, okay, when he's in his high school, I believe he knows very little about what he really wants, just like many of you. So I think if you are able to identify just like him, in 4 years' time in Hong Kong, you can achieve your goal. That would be really good. And I think KB's case and also Patrick's case is not unique. If you check the special online talk 3 years ago, we also have students, 2 years ago, students also give sharing and they eventually go to Ivy League and they do a good job. I believe all of you can do it. That is the key message, okay? Finally, special talk poster. So I would like to take the share screen. So let me get the share screen. I think Patrick already mentioned it. So I want to highlight from the talk tonight, I think all of you can agree that we see all these 7 attributes from KB. And I think that is really true. And I hope that you all stay tuned for the upcoming special online talk that is going to be running on a monthly basis. We will count on the support from Ahmed. He's with us tonight. He's the new RT who's going to lead the special online talk team tonight. If you are from CityU or other university, do come and join us in Hall 2. As a resident, as a tutor, we welcome you. Final word, I would like to mention that July 14th, 2 weeks later, we already confirmed and invited Huawei, the career team, the talent team, to come and give us a sharing at 8 p.m. So stay tuned. We're going to have a career talk. That is after the IT team event, the special talk team event, and we have a new series to show you the career aspect. So stay tuned. I'll pass the time to Patrick. You can do the photo timepiece. Yes.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dr. Ray, for your wonderful concluding speech. And before we wrap up this event, Aman and Heidi, could you please help us to take a group picture? Everyone else, could you please turn on your cameras? Thanks.
Yes, photo timepiece.
So I'm taking photo. Let's smile.
Yeah, we hope that you all enjoying the sharing tonight. It's really eye-opening. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Patrick.
Thank you so much for joining the talk, guys. Thank you,
Thank
KP.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye.
See you again. Bye-bye.
See you next year.